welcome everybody to a brand new Endzone episode. Yeah, to be short, let's take a look at how the game currently runs. I'm making a new game since the last episode. You saw me lose terribly. Well, a week has passed since then, and I found out that the game, because it's in early access and still has a lot of bugs, one of the bugs that was back then very enormously feeling was the water and the food gather rate as soon as the hunger or thirst strikes. Beside that, there was also a bug that people do not go to shelter even when there are a lot of empty ones. They stated that they fixed it. Well, I have tried it out before this episode, and the water and the food problem is still there. However, on a lower intention. So basically, when it happens, if you react quick enough and with more than enough people, and the walk distance is not that big, then you can gather it back to normal. So I have put it on more easy mode. So these are the map options currently. I'm taking it to a brand new level by lowering the mountains, so we are not locked off the rest of the world. So it increases the easiness of the map. The map size is at large, so that makes it also easier to cover it. The lakes, I leave it at medium. If I put it in high, we get the same problem of mountains, I believe. Well, I can give it a try on high, why not? I've increased the forest rate and the ruins to high as well, so that we have more than enough to get to scrap and such. See if we can get further this time. The distance to the water is short, so that's basically the difficulty easy, difficulty easy, difficulty easy, and difficulty easy. So basically, that's it. So how shall we call this one? Let's say YouTube down. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's get into it. Also, for the questing part, they did not implement it yet. They say that they will do it this month. Well, I hope they do, because it's a very big, important part of the game, and I think it's missing. So let's get going. Let me first rotate the camera to be normal. As you can see here, let me pause the game. You can see that the world was generated a lot different than the map before this one. We have a big hangar here, a storage depot. A lot of ruins scattered around. So basically we were in the heart of a city. Here we have some streets and a town that we can scrap up. There's water here. There's water there. There's like water everywhere. I think the water increase is normal. It's good. And forest is like everywhere. Currently we have 12 settlers. I will point 4 to building. And I will pick a task because I was learning the ropes, so it's very important. Let's just keep everything around this area over here. We can sadly place just one of these, but well, at least it does what it needs to do. Good. Now we need to make a cistern. So let me take a look on where I can put my jetty. That's important. There. And now we can make a cistern over here. Just connect it to it. There we go. And what I also found out in between, the pathways will increase the way they walk and move along everything. So I always make sure that I have enough. Since I changed the difficulty, everybody is in a complete suit. So they are protected against radiation. Although food and other stuff can be harming. Since we are building our city and such around this water, let's place the farms on the left side and the factories on the right bottom, and keep this forest area on the bottom here to collect the goods. I think that's a good thing to do. So, what I also learned in the last try is that the max size of a farmland is 16 by 16. But since there is still scrap and such here, it will not trigger it. So, I'm gonna change the way I'm doing things to this side. There we go. That's one. At least that's one. And I make a second field, and I'm not doing because I like to do it. I'm doing it because I have done 2 types of fields. The first field will harvest something that grows quickly and gives a lot of food. Basically the difference between these two is very low, but the food increase is huge. You can take a look at different ones to see whatever is quick. You can see that then the beans are better because, well, they just take 1.4 and give almost the same as the cabbage. The potato gives a lot as well. Then we have the bell peppers, which has a lot of food you get in a quick amount of time, but it keeps them working. And the working part is the one that you need to be careful of. The trees will generate a lot of food, and the trees will generate as well as when you are picking the food. The only reason why trees are gone is the radiation of dry land. So, for the sake of this one, let me put the biggest amount of food in it as possible. Yeah, the hunting lodge is working, but you need to have animals in the vicinity. Now we have 2 of them, but it's below here. I will not do that yet. Electricity I have tried out. Yeah, well, the point is that I have still not figured out what the difference is if they are powered or not. Something I simply cannot understand. There we go. And now everybody has his job. Now we need, for the last part, the road. Because I wanted to make a road here. And then around this one, so they can move between them. It's very important that we keep a lot of ways for people to walk around. Since I'm gonna clear this area over here, this will be where the villagers live and this is where we work. I think that's the most logistical way to do things. So I'm making a road over here. And I will get it off pause and turn it up to speed. As you can see, they are now building the roads. In between the time, I'm gonna make the foraging hut and the scrapyard. As I told you, I'm trying to place all the category items together. The reason for this is because if you place down the things together at the same location, they will be working better because the path between them is not long. For example, if you place a recycler, you can better do it close to the scrapyard. Because that will give a lot of stuff. Since the scrapyard is producing scrap and they both use scrap, they just have to pick it up on the other side of the road. This will be the area where the big refinery will be placed. If I'm correct, it should fit nicely. Yeah, well, it doesn't fit by 1, but I can place it here as well. See? So I try to keep the place on the left side and the right side empty. But that's basically where it needs to go when it's being placed. This building is a game changer, I can tell you that. Last try that I tried this game, I found out that the tailor shop is not very fast. Better to say, it's slow. Way too slow. So, let's pause, get it off pause again. They are collecting water now, and I can see over here how we are consuming and producing. Well, we are producing a lot and consuming a little bit less. But it is not live, it's per season. So that's where the whole problem starts. I cannot measure it live because the GUI is still in progress. They are still working on getting the progress done. And that's where the whole issue comes from. If you take a look, fertility is high, education is not very high. We have tools and we have clothing. But the whole point is that we need to have the clothing and such working. Well, my farmers are planting the cultivated field, and you can see that it grows pretty fast. And the orchard is planted and will start growing as well. They are building a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna set it to build next so that they can gather the wood now. Let me see. Lower the water gatherer, make a forester and a scrap collector so that we can start doing those. I can now remove 2 to make 1 of each. And then I'm gonna set this one to clothing and this one to metal plates. Why? Metal plates will give the required resource for the big refinery. There goes my planters. They are planting. Every time a child goes to adult and they do not have a job, then they're gonna do these tasks. So gathering this stuff that's in this area over here. I'm trying to do my best here to see how fast and good I can produce everything. Although I have to say that it's an extremely hard game. It's not easy. Due to the many bugs that are still in this game, it's very hard to get along the things that basically break your game. Since the farming takes time, then when this right part is still growing, they can start collecting the left part. What I find terrible is that they start seeding only when the field is empty. Why not refill the slots that are empty when they have nothing to do? And same for the tree part of the trees. Good. I'm pausing the game a little bit. That's something I learned as well. If you pause the game enough, you can find control more easy. I'm making 4 houses over here. And the same way backwards, but I cannot place there because the job is still there. 19. We can offer 2 for each building. Hopefully this is enough. We only know it when it's... Oh, did I move it? Cancel, cancel, and cancel. And then place another cabin over here. I want to make sure that it all fits nicely. Ah, that's why. Cancel construction. Is it the same for this road? Only way to notice that is by trying. Oh, here it is. That's why. This should be aligned correctly. There we go. The radiation icons you see here is the radiation that's in the ground at that location. Due to the game, from time to time there will be radioactive rain, and that will contaminate the area. Currently there is almost no radiation. Well, I can tell you in the late game it's gonna change. The groundwater level is dry. It's as simple as that. It's gonna dry out eventually, and then when it starts to rain again, it will start doing things. When it's dry, the plants will still grow. That's something I did not notice in the last game. That it is basically not that way of working. The refinery is one that I'm gonna place down already, so I can build around it. When they have the stuff for it, it will be delivered here. Now, my players, that's better to say my civilians, are now increasing, so I can start adding more things to the construction and gathering things. For the limits, I will start increasing some things, like this one to 10,000. This herbs is also something. Herbs. 2,000. 3,000. There we go. And now wood, 4,000. Scrap. Let me change these one to a lower amount. This one to a higher amount. Because cloth is something you need a lot of. And the hemp joint and such, I will not get these ones. These ones I'm not using. This one may be 100. Well, and this one also 100. Now I've adjusted the limits not without reason. The limits will allow us to basically change the way what they are doing once they are not doing anything. There we go. Good. Now, this one has an area close by around it, and same for this one. Although I'm gonna change this one to here, and this one maybe a little bit moved out of the building, so that it can collect things more far away. Now, as you can see, the icon here was changed to green. That means that the general moisture in the area is bigger than the dry. Once it changes color, here it will change depending on the view. If I move, you can see that it changes the color depending on what is in my view, and that same way works for the radioactive icon. So I'm learning people. So I think I will wrap this episode right here. Next time we are gonna continue on expanding the base, see if we can work out a better, to say, balance between food that is being eaten and being stored, as the food goes down a little bit faster than I recommend. The water consumption is also increasing and we need more people. The children will be born soon, so there are a lot of children being born because these new buildings are here, and people that are not doing anything can be working to go collect the things that we do not have yet. So I thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Good luck!